What's up, everyone? Welcome into a brand new episode of Snaps, your favorite daily college football show. I am one of your hosts, T-Bob Hebert, joined as always by my dazzling. That's a hard word to say. Dazzling. I can't say. Dazzlingly.
Beautifully teeth that have tons of cavities. Co-host.
Yeah. I was just gonna say dazzling smile, but Aaron did get some bad news today in that regard. I mean, look at him, just killer megawatt smile, but can't judge a book by its cover, folks. Okay, as I don't know, Aaron doesn't like to brush his teeth. Apparently, pretty freaking weird. He claims to. He says he flosses.
I just wear whitening strips. I don't brush my teeth. I just put whitening strips on every day, and that's all I need to do.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I literally brush my teeth. I floss once a day, and somehow I had to have 4 fillings on the left side of my mouth this morning, and it sucks. Oh, so bad. I'm so a little bit numb. So if I randomly start drooling, for those watching YouTube, and drool just starts coming down the beard, that's why. It's not from all the candy I ate yesterday, which actually could be the reason, because of all the candy I ate, is why I had the cavities, which is why I had the 4 fillings today.
Okay. Alas, you reap what you sow, and we reap super chats. I'm going to get to Captain Spartan super chat in a minute. I do want to welcome everyone in. We're at youtube.com/The Volume. Thank you to Papa Colin Cowherd and The Volume for having us here. We absolutely love it here. It's our favorite part of every single day. We have so much fun with y'all. On today's show, we're going to break down a great look. I love a list, but you know what I love even more? I love a list that has voting parameters that translate into numbers. Okay. One of my favorite articles every single year is when The Athletic does their quarterback tier list. And it's basically, you give every guy a tier ranking, and then they average out the numbers and you see who lands where. Well, ESPN got their 12 college football writers together, and they told them, hey, name your top 10 quarterbacks. If you ended up in, if a player's in first, they get 10 points. If they're in 10th, they get 1 point. And then we saw where the math fell. So pretty interesting top 10 list that I want to break down with Aaron Murray. We'll probably make fun of the Pac-12 a bit more. I think we'll probably go more in depth on this tomorrow, but there's a Big 12 coaching ranking list, which, like, if you're anything like me, actually seeing it on paper, you're kind of like, oh man, okay.
Sucks.
Like what sucks? No, I disagree, dude. I was kind of like when I see like BYU, UCF, and Houston like joining the conference, I'm kind of like, okay. But then for some reason, when I see Kalani Sitake and Gus Malzahn and Dana Holgerson's name, and who am I leaving out? A name right there on the list, like, it actually got me pretty pumped up, which I thought was a bit interesting. I'll try to keep well, actually, maybe this is more of a question for that we should all have internally here on Snaps, if we want to keep more of the general bullshit that we open his show at the end of the show. But you know what? We can figure that out later. Aaron, how was your Easter, though? Solid Easter and Passover for Aaron, our resident cashew, part Catholic, part Jew. You looked great in your yarmulke. I don't want to culturally appropriate, so I've never worn one. I feel like I have a perfect face for it, but I don't know. That's just me.
You
how was
a very Jewish face.
I know,
very Jewish
rounded.
Yeah, well rounded. The beard, the Jews love a good beard. So you could rock a yarmulke. I'll send you a little LSU yarmulke your way for next year's Passover.
I don't think that's allowed.
It's a good thing. But Easter went well. Maddox has a very unique way of collecting Easter eggs. So he has his Uncle Josh follow him. He finds an egg. He opens it. He gets the chocolate out. He gives the empty egg to his uncle, and then goes to the next egg. It just repeats the process. So it's not like, all the other kids are like going around trying to get as many eggs in the basket as he can. He's like, no, I'm just going to get one, eat it. Uncle Josh, take my trash, take the empty egg, go on to the next one. And it's unique, but I mean, he got his chocolate in, so I can't hate on it. Hope. Yeah.
I was going to say probably better for you in the end, because he's actually eating less candy, right? Finding less eggs overall, because he's spending time eating the candy, whereas other kids are just sitting there stacking eggs. We didn't even do an egg hunt, honestly. My kids had done so many egg hunts at school and all the other shit that yesterday me and my wife were like, you know what? Let's just not do it.
No more candy.
So we did.
No
so
more.
we,
Wait,
so we
so
just
you
did
didn't
it.
like hide? You didn't hide a basket for your kids to go find in the house?
No, we did. We had three, like, we had baskets waiting on them when they woke up. We did more of like a Christmas setup. We set up a nice little table for them to have a little Easter breakfast on. We hung some like carrot string lights and had nice baskets, but we did not do an Easter egg hunt. Also, the term "we" is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this sentence for me because it was mainly my wife who is very good at all that stuff, while I sat there and didn't really help much, to be quite honest. So great job, my wife. All right, let's get to this $10 super chat to start the show from Captain Spartan 04. T-Bob, still confused on who's LSU's three biggest rivals: Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas, A&M. Spartan, if you're confused, it's because most people are confused. Like I don't think that this is I don't think that if you ask 10 different LSU fans who their three biggest rivals are, you're probably going to get maybe even 10 different answers, to be quite honest. I would say that maybe Ole Miss.
Which is crazy, T-Bob, because it's such a big brand. Well, but so much tradition, which is weird to me.
Yeah, I think though it's odd because no in-state rival, which off the bat, so you don't have like an Auburn Alabama situation, and then a lot of the games that you care about the most, because they have the most competitive, they have the most like stakes on the line going into the game, are kind of newer feeling, right? Like LSU and Alabama is what many people would answer, but for the vast majority of that rivalry, it's just been Alabama curb stomping LSU. Now here in the modern era,
how far does that rivalry date though? Like that I was going to ask you that. Like, is that something that's more recent? Just because both of them have been more of, they've had really big moments of shining, and that game has been pumped by CBS as like that for I don't know, the vast majority of the past decade.
Well, you had like the game of the century. Yeah.
Was this like
no?
Has this been a rivalry for 50 years? Or is this
it goes
newer?
back to 64, but the problem is, like, even during the Charlie McClendon days, some of LSU's best days, they just could never beat Bear Bryant in Alabama. I don't know. I'm just looking quickly at Winsipedia. It looks like Alabama started this series, like, rough estimate here, like probably like 30-5 or something. like it did not go well, and then it started to go well for whatever. The point is, like, it's not. If you just look at the Wikipedia, it's not how you would traditionally think about a college football rivalry. So, like, kind of Alabama. No. I think Ole Miss would probably be the main name that most fans would say, especially the old heads. But there's always, it was always Piss and Ole Miss. They were the homecoming game, I think, for a while there. You have, like, Billy Cannon's Halloween run. There's a bunch of moments. Like Florida. Florida was one created anew, but to this recent generation has meant a ton, but one that nobody really gives a fuck about outside of LSU. So I don't know, man. And then you play Arkansas for a trophy. And then early 2000s, it was Arkansas, Auburn for a while.
Arkansas jumps to me as the one. That feels
but LSU fans will not say that. I love the Arkansas rivalry. I love the Golden Boot. Mm-hmm. LSU fans are too proud. They think they're above Arkansas. They won't grant Arkansas rival status. So
I would put Arkansas over Ole Miss though. I mean,
not
I would
LSU
say our
fans.
Generation.
I know. I get what you're saying, but I'm telling you,
involved.
Well, I think technically there's a trophy for the Ole Miss game as well. I think it's like a flower or something. It might be a magnolia. I'm not 100% sure on that. But no, look, old heads will say Ole Miss, and a lot of whatever. I think the SEC did a pretty good job because even A&M, not a historical rival, but has a ton of juice to it right now. I really like the Alabama, Ole Miss, A&M grouping that they put together. But point is, as you can see, you're never going to find a consistent answer on who the three biggest rivals are. He also wants to know, Aaron, I'm going to Kansas City for the drafts. What are 5 restaurants you would recommend trying? 5, that's a lot.
5. If we just want to stick with barbecue here, I'd go Q39. I'd go Jack Stacks. Those are 2. 5. I haven't been to Kansas City in like 6 years. Those 2. Just go those 2. Good time, good environment, great areas. right there, like in the plaza area, about 15 minutes away from the stadium, so not too far away. A lot of walkability, a lot of shops, a lot of restaurants. So yeah, stick to those spots. I'm sure you'll find some new spots along the way too. But get the burnt ends, some beef burnt ends, and send them my way, please, because I miss them dearly. My belly
Love
doesn't,
burn
but I
ends.
do.
What's
Love burnt ends.
so I love burn ends as well. I don't think they're part of this next question I'm asking you. What's your go-to barbecue kind of cut of meat? Like if I'm offering you one meat on your plate, take burn ends off the table. If I'm offering you one meat on the plate to go along with your sides, what type though? What are we talking? Like a pulled pork?
I'm a good Jew.
Or like sausage?
I'm a good Jew. So pulled pork.
Okay. I think I'm a brisket man. I think like an elite brisket is kind of impossible to beat for me. Andy J wants to know why Tennessee didn't get listed as blue blood in last episode. Look, I'll be clear. When it comes to blue bloods, I don't know what it is. I put my thumb on the scale for Northern football. I'm not sure why. Big Ten just feels a bit more blue blood than the SEC. Doesn't make sense. Do I have any great logic behind it? No. But like I said, I did a lot of that list through just feeling it in my balls. And my balls just weren't my balls were telling me that Tennessee was like LSU and UGA, just not quite in that discussion just yet. Aaron, do you have any reason why Tennessee didn't make it?
Kind of same thing with you. They don't feel like it to me. But how many SEC teams did we have in our blue bloods? We had Alabama. Was it just it? It was Alabama.
Just
only
Alabama.
One? I mean, Texas is going to be in there, so it will be two.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, we did have USC on the West Coast. Yeah, I guess Oklahoma too. But I'm with you. There's something about the Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan that just feels a little bit more football-y to me.
Yeah, maybe it's the existence of fall, given that we don't actually have falls down here in the South. And falls and like classic college football seem to go hand in hand. Okay, last one, and then we'll get to the show. Greg Hendricks. Hey, Aaron, to piggyback off Kansas City question, what's a good restaurant in Athens that is not a national chain?
Ooh, go to Last Resort. Five Bar is somewhat of a chain. I think it's in a few college towns. Five Bar is good. Chuck's is really good, but my go-to is always Last Resort. They got hell of a dessert menu, so make sure you don't get too full up if you're there for G-Day this weekend.
So we are definitely starting to put together the pieces of how Aaron's cavities arrived. As he mentioned, eating all of his kids' Easter candy, and now the first place when recommending a restaurant, the first thing I would have never thought to do that. The first thing I describe is the dessert menu. The dessert menu,
the whole menu is great. I'm just saying, don't fill up on the main course because you need to say something for dessert. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a dessert guy. Yeah. I don't really fuck with dessert, dude. I'm a meat and potatoes guy. Salt and meat. And cheese and savoriness. Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. All right. If you want to get involved in today's show, hop in the chat, youtube.com/thevolume. Are y'all ready to break down some top 10 quarterbacks? Huh? Here's my question. Brum, Aaron, do we want to go 10-1 or 1-10 here in discussing this?
Feel it in your balls.
Okay. I guess I deserve that. All right. I am going to do, let's go 1-10. Okay. We'll start with the interesting stuff and see where we go. So again, how this worked, ESPN got their 12 college football writers to vote, make a top 10 quarterback list. If you were number 1 on a ballot, you got 10 points. If you're number 10 on a ballot, you got 1 point, and everything in between. And the top one on the list, it really comes with no question. He got 11 of the 12 first place votes. So he has 119 total points. And that is Caleb Williams. Threw for 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, just 5 picks. Surprising here, 10 rush touchdowns for Caleb Williams last year. 87.6 QBR, which is an insane equation to try to score that highly in. Caleb Williams, absolutely fantastic. The only person on this list to break the the 100-point barrier as he gained so many first place votes. What can you say about Caleb Williams on today's show, Aaron Murray, that we haven't already said 1,000 times before?
Well, I want to know who the jackass is who didn't put him first. I mean, like, what are you watching? Like
Heather did it. 12. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't Heather.
Yeah, maybe like what won the Heisman, broke incredible season. You just laid out the stats. Why are you not voting? It always drives me crazy. There's always that one jackass that just wants to be different, that wants to put his name out there, that just decides to vote for some random person who we all know is not the best quarterback heading into next year's draft or next year's season and next year's draft too. I mean, the only thing that he needs to improve on is image. Just stop with the fingernail painting. Stop with the BS. Just focus on football. No F you to whatever team you're playing that week. That's all I care about. Right? That's the only thing. I'm sorry. Like what do you think that needs to improve on? He made drastic improvements from last year.
Winning the Pac-12. That's what he needs to improve on. Winning the Pac-12. Yeah,
but that's a team thing. That is a team thing. And
oh, whatever. Healthy, you quarterbacks want to get
better. Yeah. Go ahead. When we lose, it's not our fault, and when we win, it's the reasons because we had a great game. That's why.
Exactly.
Look at that, Clint Moses. There is nothing to nitpick his game with. He is one of the most complete quarterbacks that you will ever see. I could have nitpicked him 2 years. Like last year, yes, he needed to get better. He needed to take care of the football a little bit better. Needed to kind of rowl in the concepts a little bit more, stick in the pocket a little bit more at times. He did that. There was still that backyard football, which was great, but he vastly improved at trusting the offense, letting the offense run through him. And but I mean, you watch him. There really is not a lot. He's phenomenal. I'm in love.
Did he? So you're not even saying at times last year you didn't feel like he was like pushing it or trying to make too many plays. He pretty much just played his position perfectly.
Do that, T-Bob. Like if you're not pushing the limits, you ain't gonna be great. If I'm worried about if I'm there dinking and dunking and checking down, like that's good and all, but you ain't gonna win championships. You ain't gonna win a Heisman. Like you gotta take some chances. I think he has the cojones. We'll talk about big balls. He's got the big balls of trying to put some balls in some tight windows. And I appreciate that. Like he got better at that of decision making of like, okay, certain times I'm out of the pocket, can I maybe throw the ball across my body? Yeah, but sometimes sometimes it's just stupid. Sometimes I do have to throw the ball away. He improved on that from year 1 to year 2, from Oklahoma to USC last year. But you got to have some effort in you. You got to have some throws where like the coach's butt cheeks get a little bit tight on the sidelines. Yeah. You throw it and your butt cheeks get a little bit tight too in the pocket. Like, all righty then. Like there's a lot of moments of that, and that's what makes him special, though.
I don't know that I thought that we would get a Ace Ventura reference while talking about the first place on this show. I haven't thought about Ace in a long time. Shout out to our guy Clint Moses in the chat, who's our resident Oregon State fan, pointing out that the Beavers held Caleb to his lowest yards and passing percentage. What goes so
early
wrong?
In the season? Early in the season.
Yeah. But what went wrong late in the year? Like after Utah, when you have such a great start and then you kind of completely disappear, or in the bowl game against Tulane, where I know they're losing the game. Hey, Tulane went great. What about you? What about the Pac-12 championship?
He was banged up. He was hurt.
Okay.
You remember that he got hurt. He was playing great. Then he decides to it's a taking care of your body sort of thing too. For you remember, I mean, he was running. Great run left side, decides to kind of make a move instead of just going out of bounds or going down. He ends up hurting himself.
Forgot that.
Not the same quarterback the rest of the game. And I mean, that is part of his game. And that is something that, okay, here's one thing he can improve on. Continuing to be a better pocket quarterback, because, we did see a very different quarterback when he was not able to run around, make plays with his legs, get outside the pocket. When he was forced to stay in the pocket because of the injury, was not as effective. So there you go, T-Bob. Figure out a way to trust your O-line, sit in there, get through your reads, and not feel like you have to be, Patrick Mahomes in order to have success. So that's the one area for me I want to see him get better at.
All right, number 2 on this list, maybe a bit of a surprise here, right? Because when it comes to NFL prospects, it generally goes Caleb Williams, Drake Maye. But number 2 on this list is Michael Penix Jr., scoring 97 points. And Aaron, we can get into it, right? I don't think that Penix is a better NFL prospect than Maye. I don't think he's terribly far off.
No.
But the question is, will he be a better college quarterback next year? And he has a few distinct advantages in his side of this conversation. First off, he's a fifth-year senior, right, compared to a redshirt sophomore for Maye. So just like more experience tends to matter more. But maybe more importantly than anything to me is that he gets everybody back. He's still with Kalen DeBoer, who, remember, when he was great at Indiana, who is he with? Kalen DeBoer. DeBoer leaves, Penix falls off completely. DeBoer comes back, Penix goes back to be one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. He's got both of offensive tackles back, and he's got his top 3 receivers back. Okay, Rome Odunze, who caught for over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns last year, sophomore. Jalen McMillan, another 1,000-yard receiver, 9 touchdowns, sophomore. Freshman, their third leading receiver, had 700 yards. Jalen Polk, again, freshman. So the line's back, the receivers are back, the coaches are back, and he's got the experience. As we'll talk about with Maye, it's kind of the opposite with Drake Maye. So I actually really like Michael Penix Jr. here as the second best quarterback on this list for college, not NFL prospect, but just college quarterback.
Well, that's what I want to know. Like, are we picking this list on who's the best quarterback or who's going to have the best stats?
Who's going to have the best years? Maybe not like just raw stats, but like wins,
no,
years.
Like the name of the article. The name of the article is ranking the best 10 quarterbacks heading into next season.
Yeah, but it's not saying 10 NFL draft prospects, right? Because if you're doing a draft prospect, Anthony Richardson.
I'm still saying who's the better quarterback. I'm just saying who the better quarterback is. I'm not because your offense, yes, the offense you're in will dictate a lot of what your numbers are going to be. The offense that they're in Washington, the talent that's coming back around Michael Penix Jr. is far better than Drake Maye. Does not make him a better quarterback. Does not make him a better quarterback.
So I think
the list should then be who's going to have the best stats in college football. Like I don't get it. Are we ranking the top 10 quarterbacks?
No,
ranking the top 10 quarterbacks in college football next year, or are we ranking who is going to have the best stats in college football next year? I'm just saying. Because there's no doubt in my mind. There's no. There's no doubt in my mind that Drake Maye is the better quarterback, and if that's the ranking, then he should be too. Bro, am I crazy on this one?
You are being purposefully obtuse.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes. They should. What writer is going to get on the internet and pitch their editor? Hey, I think we should title it "Top 10 Quarterbacks Who Will Have the Best Stats Next Year." You know what the editor says? Let's just call it top 10 quarterbacks. Okay. We just talked about feeling it in your plums.
But I do think to your point, T-Bob, Aaron does feel it in his plums that Drake May is better. That's what he feels. He feels in his plums.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess what I mean by feeling the plums is I don't think this is a raw. No, I think he's a better NFL prospect, like I said. But I think Michael Penix Jr. is going to have more success next year and have a better year, statistically and maybe from a win standpoint as well. Drake Maye,
he's got a better team. Switch it. Put Drake on Washington. Put Drake on Washington. What happens? Drake would have better stats.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I find that hard to argue with. I guess when I look at this list, though, the feeling that I get is that they're not approaching this just from who is the most talented quarterback situation. I mean, Bo Nix is 4th in this list. Would Bo Nix be 4th in terms of NFL prospects? I mean, you might know better than I would. You think the list is just shit all over the place. Okay, so why should Drake? So Drake Maye loses Phil Longo to Wisconsin. He loses all of his receivers as Josh Downs and Antoine Green, his top 2 guys that were dominant last year, both going to the NFL.
Man. He's elite. He's elite.
Chip Lindsey's the OC now. Does Chip Lindsey do anything for you? I mean, tell me about Chip Lindsey, because when I look at his resume, I don't see anything that good. He had pretty good numbers at UCF last year, but it's nothing to get terribly excited about.
Yeah, I'm just once again I think an elite quarterback masks a lot of issues. I mean, Drake is at that level. I've said it before. But if Drake and Caleb are in the draft this year, they're the number 1, number 2 quarterback getting taken off the board. They're the first 2 picks in the NFL draft this year. Like, you're talking about guys that right now could be starting in the NFL next fall. Like they're that good that they can make the jump and be day one starters next year, are coming back for another season. You can't tell me those guys aren't going to make those receivers better, that they're not that much better than everyone else on the football field. So maybe I am looking at it from an NFL standpoint. Like I'm looking at it at a pure talent standpoint, not a who's your coordinator, who are your receivers, which is going to help you put stupid stats up of who is the best quarterback in college football. And those two are clearly the best this year, and they're going to be the best two guys next year.
So my only issue with this conversation is if Penix balls out and wins the Pac-12 and Drake Maye and them don't make the ACC championship, your opinion's not going to change, right? But I think what this list is getting at is that in that context, that Penix should be ranked above Drake Maye. I think that's what this list is getting at. And again, that's just too much for Maye to overcome. Now, it is clear, though, that we're starting to see tiers develop because you have 119 points for Williams. Yep. You have 93 points for Maye. You have, and then you have 97 points for Penix. Then you go all the way down to 80 points at Bo Nix and then 58 at Jordan Travis. Okay. So you have your big three. Bo Nix exists in some sort of in-between purgatory. And then everybody else is guys who are like, they're really good, but they're not close to these other guys. But Bo Nix is pretty fascinating here because to me, he's kind of, to the conversation we're having, Aaron, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but he feels like the epitome of a great college quarterback that people just don't seem very excited about at the NFL level.
He will be a better college quarterback than pro quarterback because of his skill set. But I don't know. I think Bo, who 2 years ago had a good year at Auburn without any support, I thought had a terrific year last year, was kind of working his way to possibly, a Heisman finalist towards the end of the season. And obviously they just didn't get done. He got banged up. I think it was versus Washington they ended up losing.
Yeah.
But I think if he puts up another season like he did, if he puts up another season like he did this year, and I think it'd possibly be even better because he's played a lot of damn football. 5th-year senior, 2nd year there at Oregon. I'm expecting Dan Lanning to take a step as a head coach next year, and already had a good year in year one. If he's somewhere in that like mid-30 touchdown, he's going to have some rushing touchdowns as well. He'll be in New York, and I think Bo is like a top 3-round pick NFL draft guy. I mean, you look at the guys getting drafted. Yeah, I think Bo is a top 3. He's got good size. They got him at like 6'2", 215. He's athletic. We all know how much he can run. I think he is good, maybe a little bit above average arm strength. Needs to take care of the football a little bit better. Needs to take care of his body a little bit better. But overall, like he's a good looking ball player, man. He's not Caleb. He's not Drake. He's not Penix. Like he's not. I don't think he's 1st-round material, but he's late 2nd round, 3rd round material. It's a really good quarterback.
So he does lose Kenny Dillingham, whose name pops up again with the next player on this list. As who's Dillingham, a bit of a quarterback whisperer. But, I mentioned with Drake Maye, I don't find bringing in Chip Lindsey to be terribly exciting. I'm intrigued by Oregon's hire at OC. They bring in Will Stein, and like, who's that? This is the UTSA. And to be fair, I didn't know about this guy before the article and then looking him up, right? But he was the UTSA OC. And why that's important, UTSA's quarterback, Frank Harris, 2nd in the nation in total offense. Threw for 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, rushed for 609 touchdowns. Who does that sound like? Like, that sounds like Bo Nix. It's basically better version of the exact same number distribution that Bo Nix had last season. So, like, at a time when he looks like he's ready to make a huge jump, and he's in such a much more comfortable spot than he's been at any other point in his college career, I think Will Stein is actually a pretty good guy to get him there. I found a pretty wild statistic. I don't know how normal this is, Aaron, but it felt weird looking at it. Oregon has 11 players returning with at least 10 catches. There was nobody had over like 700 yards. Like, it was an incredibly spread out production. Where it gets intriguing, out of those 11 players, 2 seniors and 9 sophomores. 9 sophomores return. So you look at a cast of weapons that Nix is going to be familiar to Nix as well. And that's a lot of guys to throw against the wall. So when somebody emerges, like, you would expect him to be very good. He also has his entire offensive line. Or excuse me, I was getting my talking points confused. I don't know where they stand on O-line, but I think Bo Nix poised to build off of the incredible breakthrough year that he had last year. Is he right here at 4, though? Would you put anybody else on this list above Bo Nix?
Nope. Okay. It's a Pac-12 year, man. It is obviously Drake and everything as well with ACC, but the Pac-12 is going out with a freaking bang. I don't know if we're going to get to it or not today, if we're going to push it tomorrow's show, if the Pac-12 survives after the season or not. But right now, they're going to have one fun season out there on the West Side just because the offenses, the receivers, the quarterbacks. You have 2 first-round quarterbacks, a guy that can win. It's a big, major Heisman favorite in my mind, and another quarterback that's going to be, early round draft pick. It's some good football this year.
Yeah, and then how about Janus and Moses in the chat pointing out that Uiagalelei transferred to Oregon State. I forgot about that. So another little Pac-12 name with at least some recommendation. Lost in Translation podcast says Pac-12 is mid except for Colorado. Rough year for Prime in Colorado. Like, it's a hell of a first year to be in the conference, and suddenly they just have great quarterback play everywhere. So that's your top 4. And it's unquestionably the top 4, even though you could change the ordering around some ways post Caleb Williams. Now it's going to be a bit more of a crapshoot. And we arrive at Jordan Travis at number 5, 58 points, 3,100 yards passing, 24 passing touchdowns, 5 picks, right? I was such a hater on Travis going into last year from Florida State. I talked so much shit about if you make him throw the ball, he sucks, he can't throw it, you're going to beat him, blah, 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 blah. Well, imagine this, guys. I was wrong, and I'm an idiot because Jordan Travis beat LSU with his arm and went on to continue to beating people with his arm and posted an 85-8 QBR. Interestingly, I read there's a great anecdote in this piece where when Mike Norvell got the job, Jordan Travis's confidence was so low, he asked Norvell to stop playing quarterback. He wanted to switch positions so that he could play. And Norvell said, hell no. And then you know who helped train him up? Kenny Dillingham. So how about that? Some Kenny D fingerprints both on Bo Nix and Jordan Travis. I know you're a big fan of Travis. He has his whole line back, his receiving core back, running back.
They crushed Travis, the portal.
Yeah, and Florida State should be very good this year.
Yeah, I know. They're going to absolutely – week 1 is going to be such a big statement for him and his way to go to win the Heisman when they just trounce on LSU there in Orlando, make a statement. The Seminoles are back for real. Listen, I was with you, T-Bob. When I'm watching LSU last year, that first game, I'm sitting back watching, when the hell did Jordan Travis learn how to throw a football? Where did this come from? We talk about transformations of quarterbacks being able to throw it. And obviously, a lot of NFL fans, as won't hit on it too much right now. Anthony Richardson, hopefully he improves a lot. But Jordan literally, I don't even trust him to throw a hitch route or a slant or a 12-yard comeback. I'm just run the ball, just be an athlete. And then all of a sudden, week 1 versus LSU, he looks like he's completely dialed in. His footwork was improved, his accuracy and timing, throwing the routes, and he just showed it all year. I was okay, well, it's week 1. LSU, they made a ton of mistakes. I don't want to get too high on him, but the whole season, man, looked so much better. And like you said, they're returning most of their guys. I think they've built a lot of confidence. I think Florida State has a lot of swagger right now. They did a great job in the transfer portal, got some big-time guys on both sides of the football. I like Florida State. How I feel. I think Florida State's going to win the ACC this year. I think they're a 10-11 win team. And a big reason why is because of Jordan Travis. If he can keep on that trajectory of the improvements he made last year, building that confidence, I think this is the difference. Bo Nix to me can play in the NFL. I think Jordan Travis is a really good college quarterback. I don't think he has what it takes to play at the NFL, though. I think there is a difference between Jordan Travis and Bo Nix when it comes to that next level.
Man, are you just you must be so jealous of LSU?
What?
And all these other college football fan bases that actually get to have exciting games. Like what are you actually looking forward to as a Georgia football fan next year? Like, please tell me
The
what
playoffs.
is even
The
what
playoffs.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the playoffs.
Exactly. Here it is,
You know what?
boys.
I
This
don't
is how
care. I
the end
can't go to
starts.
any game. I can't go to any game, so I really don't care.
This is
So
how people.
I'm all for the playoffs, though.
This is how people get into snuff films, okay? Because they just become more and more depraved because they're so desensitized. You have nothing that causes any stirring in your loins until you get to the biggest, baddest thing. Like, you just have nothing to look forward to anymore. No. You're going to be sitting there with a belt around your neck, choking yourself out, just trying to find some excitement to hold on to during this. I don't like how you just looked at me and nodded. No, I've never actually gotten into autoerotic asphyxiation, but I guess don't knock it until you try it, right? Maybe it is fun. I've never done it.
Just make sure there's a safe word.
Yes, that's the Snaps advice of the day. If you are doing a asphyxiation play, make sure. Well, how do you say the safe word if you can't breathe, though? Because if you can't breathe, you can't make a sound.
It should be safe word should be snap, so you can snap.
Yes.
Snap if you can. Yeah.
Actually, snaps.
Maybe
go ahead, bro.
Have some merch design to make snaps your safe word.
Okay, I kind of like that. Also, like, in terms of physical safe word, snapping makes a lot of sense because nobody's going to ever accidentally snap, right? Like, there's no mixed messages. You're not going to be like, oh, yeah, it feels so good. like you're never going to snap. So that's actually a really good call, Aaron. At number 6 in this list, we arrive at probably the most forgotten quarterback in the land. Cam Bad Moon Rising. 38 points on this list. What?
Oh. This goes back to my original point. Are we ranking quarterbacks by how good they're going to be or by their performance next year? Because he's coming from a torn ACL. He's going to miss part of the season. So to me, they're ranking him based on the fact that he's a good quarterback, not that he's going to have a statistical better season than the rest of the guys. Like this is the loop. This is the loop.
Dummy, they're ranking him based on the fact that he's won back-to-back Pac-12 championships. And here's a wild stat that the article had. The last 2 seasons, only 5 quarterbacks have been ranked higher in total QBR than Cam Rising, okay? And they are as follows. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett, Caleb Williams, and Hendon Hooker, okay? If you are the company you keep, Cam Rising is keeping some elite company there. So yeah, again, this is where we get in. It's not pure statistics. It's not pure NFL. It's who's a badass college quarterback. And the back-to-back Pac-12 champ with those numbers, that's a badass Pac-12 quarterback. And what I fear for Rising is he's never going to get the credit that he deserves, at least not nationally. So I hope whenever he gets done playing football that he can go back to Utah and never buy any funeral potatoes ever again. I want him to be I hope he gets treated like the conquering hero that he should be.
I hope he does too. No, listen, he's people love him. I was lucky enough to actually call his first game at Utah. It was versus San Diego State. They're on the road. Whoever the starting quarterback before him got benched because he was playing like dog poo-poo. He came in, led them back to overtime. They ended up still losing, but then from there, he just went on an obviously tear, won the Pac-12 championship, won it again last year. He's got swag, man. The hair, the energy, the charisma. He's the type of guy that I want leading my football team. He's good. He's really good. I think right now, also to me, there's a line of demarcation when you're going through this list of guys that we're getting to the point of like guys that are really good college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And now we're at the point of guys that are really good college quarterbacks, but probably not going to be, that top NFL guy. Like that's like there's we like, oh, it's going to be such a great draft class next year. The first 3 or 4, I mean, I would throw Bo Nix in there. But after 4, like it is a somewhat weak draft class next year.
But wins are ever good after 4.
Yeah,
I don't know, like
yeah. It's a pretty big drop.
Think about this though.
I will say there's a massive talent drop after those 4 though.
Yeah,
guys
that's fair,
that could play at the next level.
But also think about this. There's what? I'm being generous here. 16 human beings on the face of the earth that play quarterback at a high enough level for their fans to accept them. I mean, it's the hardest job in the world the mental and physical traits that you have to combine boggle the mind. So Cam Rising, you're a beast. Have you ever heard of funeral potatoes? I tried to look up like a regional Utah food to throw in there. They're balls of Idaho potatoes.
But look at this year. I will say guys with the physical traits to play in the NFL from this year's draft, because this year's draft we think is like a bad quarterback draft, but Bryce can play in the NFL. CJ can play in the NFL. Anthony Richardson has the ability to play in the NFL. Will Levis has the ability to play in the NFL, and so does Hendon Hooker. I mean, you have 5 guys right there that at some point are going to start in the NFL.
That's where you're going to max out.
That's where you're going to max out. But next year's draft for we think it's going to be that much better because of those top 2 guys, or maybe top 3 guys if you want to throw Penix in there. Really isn't. It is just really, really top heavy. But there's going to be someone that shows up that maybe. What's that?
I think you'll have 4 guys that ended up starting the NFL. Yeah, huh?
Bo will be interesting to see if he does or not.
Okay. Well, either way, you got Cam Rising coming in at, what was that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. And then you got, Sam Hartman at 7. Of course, go to Notre Dame. ACC's all-time passing touchdown leader. Not often do you see a conference's all-time touchdown leader leave and go to another team, much less a team with as big a brand as Notre Dame. So sexy from a looks perspective, sexy from a brand perspective, and has accounted for a touchdown in his last 34 games. Hartman's great. I'm just going to be intrigued to see what he looks like out of the slow mesh.
Yeah. Yep. I think we all are. I think he's good enough. He's great arm, great athleticism. He'll be fine. I mean, and two for him, I think obviously there's a sense of urgency. This is last year, so he knows he needs to get his ass to work, figure out how to run an offense that obviously is way more pro style, and he transferred there for a reason. Like, he knows that, like, I need to improve in this area of my game if I do want to make a statement to the NFL and obviously have a chance to win more games and play in bigger games than he did there at Wake Forest. So I like the kid. I like the kid a lot. I think he's Notre Dame hit it out of the damn ballpark when they got him. I think he's someone, to me, that I probably would have put at 6 ahead of Cam Rising. Actually, I probably may put – honestly, I would have put him at 5. I would have put him ahead of Jordan Travis too.
There's no respect for Cam Rising whatsoever. I mean, unbelievable, dude. Just winning football doesn't matter to you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Next on this list, and honestly, that is probably what hurts Hartman in this list, right? Is even though Wake Forest has good things there. No,
this next guy goes against this next guy goes against everything you just said. But go ahead.
Number 8 on this list, JJ McCarthy, the sophomore, the youngest on this list, 35 points. To me, this is like we talked about earlier this year when we looked at another top 10 quarterback list. It's just a potential play. Okay, people, like, a lot of these guys are on this list for what they've already done. JJ McCarthy's on this list for what they think he will do this season, because he was not a top 10 quarterback last year, but he did show massive improvement. And then he had some big moments late in the season on big stages. And so you hope that it becomes this kind of foundation that he can build upon and take steps forward. Interesting to note that in terms of just pure QBR, just pure numbers, him and Jayden Daniels, the only players on this list that are sub 80 in QBR. So he still has a lot of room to improve.
Yep. No, he does. I don't know if I would have had him in the top 10. If I did have him in the top 10, he'd probably be at number 10, not number 8. I do think Jayden at 9. I think Jayden's going to have a better season. I think Jayden 1 is the better quarterback, and I think Jayden 2 is going to have the better season. The one thing that's going to help JJ to prove that he belongs in this list is, one, their schedule's cupcake. You and I joke about it all the time, but the Big Ten's a joke. It's a joke. It's easy. It is a complete crap show, in a good way for them. They're going to run through it. He's got great running backs. He's going to get a lot of opportunities with man-to-man coverage on the outside to pad his stats. But I think he's good. Like I said, I do think I'm fine with him being in the top 10. I would have him somewhere around there, anywhere from 10 to maybe 13.
He's at 8. Yeah.
He needs to continue to improve. He needs having 2 good games last year while they're at the end of the year, and they're a good time to have them, because that means there's a signal of progress throughout the season. He needs to keep that up. He cannot be the same quarterback he was last year, unable to be extremely accurate with balls over 10 yards. I mean, he was a dink and dunk guy. It was crossing routes and slants and hitches. That was about it, or just go be athletic.
Until you got to the Ohio State game.
until he gets
And
my
then he was,
second. But
it
those
was
dudes were so
no, they were so
wide
open. They
open.
were so open.
They were
I know.
so
I know.
open.
I know. I know.
Like
It was crazy.
it's too easy. Too easy.
So right after McCarthy, he had 35 points. Jayden Daniels from LSU checks in with 25 points. Him and McCarthy actually very similar stats, like across the board. Here's my deal with Jayden Daniels is as a freshman at Arizona State, he flashed incredible potential. I think he had a 17-3 touchdown to pick ratio. He failed to grow any of that potential. Now, as we're seeing more and more, the Herm Edwards tenure at Arizona State was an absolute debacle, right? Awful environment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he joins LSU late, puts up pretty good numbers, beats Alabama, wins the West. Like, without a doubt, this is by far the most stable and positive environment he's ever had an offseason in. He's with these this very, very good coaching staff. He knows he's the quarterback and has been the quarterback the entire time. Full offseason, all the weapons. So, like, and because he's seen it all. Now, been in this game forever, much older than the J.J. McCarthy. Like, maybe nobody on this list has a bigger potential step forward than does Jayden Daniels. Like, I'm looking for the hope, at least, would be that you would see a very big jump from Daniels this year.
I agree. I think you will see a big jump. I do. I think he's got talent. He's got we talk about Penix with the surrounding resources he has as a quarterback. Jayden's got that at LSU. Those two freshman tackles are back. You got the running backs back. You got Mason Taylor at tight end back. You got the receivers back. There's no doubt in my mind. Plus, you alluded to the fact that, Brian Kelly, year two, is they're going to make some improvements as a culture and a work ethic standpoint. I'm excited to see what he looks like in the spring game. I know they're a little bit banged up right now. It's going to be kind of a makeshift game, but I just want to see. I'm excited to see his fundamentals, his arm, hit where his eyes are, and. But no, I think he should be higher up on this list. I mean, it's going to be. He's.
Who would you?
I like him. I don't know. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on Jayden. I'll tell you that. Like, I don't know why I am, but I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I think he's going to have I think he's going to have a that type of season where he's going to be a candidate for the Heisman by the end of the year.
Well, I mean, look, if, like I said, he's never, like, if nothing else, there will be no excuses about it being due to outside forces, because he's got the line, he's got the weapon, he's got the stability, he's got the staff, the continuity. Now it's just up to him. And then from Jayden Daniels, we get to number 10. And is it Will Rogers? No, he was first off this list looking in. Is it KJ Jefferson? No. Frank Harris from UCSA that mentioned earlier? No. Oh, it's Spencer Rattler? No. Devin Leary? No. All these guys got votes, but it's Jayden Daniels, the Kansas quarterback, who was on fire, fantastic, incredible. Then he got hurt, and he he got hurt. And that was his year. How do you feel about Jayden being at number 10?
I think it's a feel-good story. I think Kansas was a feel-good story last year, and a lot of people were excited about it, but not top 10 for me. I mean, I got KJ Jefferson. I think KJ is, an absolute freak. I think when KJ's healthy, he's probably a top 7 quarterback in college football. He's one. You want to talk maybe guys that have the ability to play at the next level. He has that ability to play at the next level. He's got some things he's got to work on, but talent wise, he's checks off a lot of boxes. Got to be a little bit more fundamentally sound. Got to stay healthy. Got to take care of his body. But KJ to me is a top 10 quarterback. I'd have him up there a little bit as well. I'd have Devin Leary ahead of him.
Devin Leary, interesting enough, barely
I think Joe
got
Milton's going to be. I think Joe will get there by the end of the year. I think Joe will be there by the end of the year. So I think this was more of this was a great story last year, so we'll keep him on the list.
But again, I don't want to sell Jayden Daniels short. His numbers were unreal. He had an 87.9 QBR when he played. But again, we'll see. Is it like Aaron said?
I want to answer this one question. Chance asks, who is KJ's comp in the NFL? And this is someone I've been saying for probably about a year now. Someone he reminds me of just because of where he left college and where his improvements need to be. But I think he's a bigger version than Jalen Hurts. I think he's a bigger version than Jalen. I think he needs to make improvements like Jaylen did throwing the football. But go back to when Jaylen was in college. Especially at Alabama, like he was not a great thrower of the football. That's why he got benched.
I know, but Jaylen's got the Burrow intangible thing. He does.
That's the biggest difference too.
Dude.
He's got the leadership factor that gets everyone juiced. I don't know if KJ has that, but when I'm talking about physical tools, he reminds me a lot of what Jaylen was his last year at Alabama. Can he take that step that Jaylen took when Jaylen went to Oklahoma and prove his throwing a little bit? That's going to be the question. And does he have the work ethic that Jaylen had?
Yeah, so a pretty shocking list in terms of who's off this. Well, Devin Leary just really shows how far he has fallen. Andy earlier asked who's going to be the best QB in the SEC by the end of the year, Aaron?
I think Joe Milton.
Wow. I mean, a conspicuous lack of SEC quarterbacks on this list, save for Jayden Daniels. Also, like we said, kind of incredible that the three teams that we think will win the Natty don't have a quarterback. I don't know when the last time I felt like that was entering college football season. Finally, Captain Spartan 04 with a $10 super chat. T-Bob, these are for you. How often y'all in Louisiana listen to Call in Baton Rouge in Louisiana Saturday night? I would say not very often, certainly on game days, right? But outside of game days, not really. Also, as a fellow high energy person and nerd, what's your best advice on finding a girl/wife? Unfortunately, Captain, you have come to the wrong person. I've been dating my wife since I was 16 years old. So my main strategy was to get in when she was really young and dumb, and I was cool because I played football in high school to take advantage of her insecurity. I guess nowadays, like I don't even. I don't know where you would even start dating. I have no idea. Maybe like go to your local board game shop a lot, but then like, do you really want the same hobbies as your wife or girlfriend? I don't know if that's always a good recipe for success. Where do people go? I mean, besides a phone app, where do you go to meet somebody now? Do you go to the coffee shop?
Dog park? Get a dog?
Okay. Yeah. Is that how you met Sharon?
Yeah, we met at the dog park.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, that's what you did. You just walked up to her and barked at her, like
pounced on me. It was
it's a mating call.
Is she a Georgia alum as well?
Yeah, she is.
So did she know who you were when you started hollering at her? Because this was post college when y'all met, right?
This is post college. Not really. She does not like football. She rarely went to football games. She tailgated and then kind of went just downtown. She's been listening to music.
Yeah, look, my wife, so we knew she was 16. She went to all my games, high school, college, all that. After I was done playing, when we were about 25, she asked me what first, second, third, and fourth down were. So despite the fact that she had spent an entire lifetime going to games, she literally said she just cheered when the other LSU fans cheered and then got upset when they got upset. Never had any fucking clue about what was going on. Look at my guy for the Black Trunks podcast. Fight on. Shout out. Go Le Petit Trojan boys. Even though, to be fair, Trunks, I'm a Husky this year. Send me Washington merch, please. Greg, we could not find a good picture of me in the dress. We got one, but it's not like really that funny. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of me in a dress. Okay, what else did we have here that I wanted to ask you, Aaron, on the way out? Shit.
That I gotta go.
No, chill out. I know. We do have to go.
I do have to
go. All right. We love you all very much. There's your top 10 quarterback list. And then coming up tomorrow, we got a bunch that we're going to get to. All, like we said, the Big 12 quarterbacks, all that. Would you date a lunch lady? Yeah, absolutely, dude. For sure. Why not? Yeah. It sounds great. I love you all. Thank you to Aaron Murray. Thank you to Ryan Brumley, Paul Farrington, Pat Gunner, Danny Cardenas, Adam Gracia. Shout out to The Volume for having us here. YouTube.com/The Volume. If you want to help the show, sub to the Volume, like the video, sub to your podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate or review it. We love you. Mwah. We'll see you tomorrow.